Hi guys, it's Tamara. I'm back with a new video this week. Welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for being with me today. We talked about the cycle of abuse last week. I want to say last Wednesday or Friday, I can't remember. And so I said that I would kind of dissect and define the different types of abuse that there are. Excuse me. But first I want to get a couple things out of the way. I am sick. And I just got sick out of the blue. I don't even know like what took me down. So I apologize. I sound really nasally. And yesterday was worse though. Someone said, you sound like your throat hurts. And my glands were so swollen. I swore I had the bumps. So I apologize for sounding this way. But I'm going to try my best to power through like a soldier. I don't give up. So I'm going to try to make this video for you as normal as I can without coughing and sounding nasally. But thank you so much for those of you who are subscribed to my channel. Welcome to my channel. I think it's awesome that you guys are here, that you participate just about every week and you give your feedback and you give your knowledge and your experiences. I think it's so wonderful, so thank you for that. If you're not subscribed, I encourage you to go ahead and hit that subscribe button right over here on the left side. That way, when I post videos, you'll be aware that I have posted a new video, and if you hit that little bell button, you can also get notification as soon as I put a video out, which is awesome. Okay, so let's just go ahead and talk about the benefits to you. So the benefits to you today in this video is that you're going to learn about the various types. I'm going to try to list about 7 to 8 different types of abuse that happen in that cycle of abuse. And as a matter of fact, let me fix my camera, guys. It's like sliding. Okay, so at the top here, I'm going to post the last video that I did on the cycle of abuse, so that you can go ahead and click on that and see what it is that I talked about. That way you can kind of catch up with us. So let's just go ahead and jump right in, okay? So I explained last week that the cycle of abuse includes the tension building stage, the explosion stage, and the honeymoon stage. Those cycles can cycle multiple times throughout a relationship, right? It doesn't matter what that relationship is. It could be grandchild and grandparent. It could be parent and child. It could be boss and employee. It could be contractor and the person who's contracting you, right? It could be an agency that's bossing you around and engaging in a cycle of abuse. It could be the president. It could be, you know, a politician. It could be your own doctor who's engaging in a cycle that's abusive to you. So I think it's important for you guys to understand that there are different kinds of abuse. I actually have a family that I have been counseling for over 5 years now, and, you know, off and on. And you know, one of the things that I saw happening in that situation was that we had a father and we had a single father and we had a little girl age 13. And she really was tiny. 13, she looked like she was about 10, 11. And love this family. I so love this family. Great family. However, Dad had no idea that he was being abused by a woman who lived in New Mexico. She lived there and they dated once in high school, one night stand. Here comes the sweet little girl they have, the whole 9 yards. Over the years, she has re-entered into their lives asking for money and support and getting her out of legal trouble and getting her out of emotionally abusive situations with her own boyfriends and even girlfriends. And I mean, it was really bizarre. Unfortunately, what the dad failed to realize is that he was being abused in a variety of ways. And so I want to start with the various ways that he was abused. And so we're going to start with financial abuse. Financial abuse occurs when another individual takes everything that you have without you even noticing that they're taking what you have, right? You could be low income, you could have Social Security disability benefits, you could have Social Security income as a retiree, you could have welfare benefits, whatever. You could have CHIP benefits for your child or some kind of child insurance program that's paying for everything. You could have financial chaos, right? Loans that you require to be paid, credit card bills that are skyrocketing, right? A lot of revolving credit you could have. The person who's abusive, typically narcissistic and sociopathic, could care less about your financial situation, right? You could be going through bankruptcy and they still find a way to steal your income. A lot of sociopaths know how to do this, right? They get you where it hits you the hardest, which is in your heart and in your mind. And then they take from you, and next thing you know, you're totally empty. You can't buy food, you can't buy clothes, you can't buy a car that you need, you don't have money for public transportation. You're just hanging out there by a thread, hoping that money somehow re-enters your bank account. An abusive person could care less about your financial resources, right? What was sad about my family is that the woman left the country and went to Mexico and stayed over there for 5 years and acted as if she didn't have a husband or a daughter to take care of. And so 5 years later, she's contacting them saying, hey, I need some money, right? I really love you guys. I want to be with you, that kind of thing. And it was a lot of manipulation going on there. And thankfully, Dad figured it out and he put his finger right on it. She's manipulating me. She's sociopathic, right? She cares nothing about my well-being and the well-being of my child. So financial abuse. The next one is psychological abuse. That kind of abuse is all in your head, right? That person tells you you're never going to be anything, tells you that you're not worth anything, right? They also engage you in manipulation, right? Gaslighting, making you feel that what you're seeing is not true. And because of that, you're crazy. Love bombing, right? Filling you up with all these wonderful, loving things. And then, boom, hitting you when you least expect it, right? All of that is psychological abuse. And that can happen in a cycle, okay? The next one is emotional abuse, and that could include toxic envy and jealousy, trying to keep you from exploring and developing as a human being, trying to keep you held back in your life, right? It could also include the silent treatment. It could also include saying things about you behind your back. All of that is emotional abuse. It hits your emotions. It doesn't make psychological sense. It hits your emotions. The most obvious two kinds of abuse is physical and verbal. Verbal abuse could be name calling and yelling and cursing and, just totally disregarding you, your feelings, degrading you and being condescending. Physical abuse can include intimidation. It can also include force and aggression, punching holes in the wall, kicking holes in the wall, slamming doors. So sorry. So I'm using my phone today, so I hate when that happens. When I don't use my phone, nobody calls me, right? When I am using my phone to take videos, everybody calls me. Go figure. All right, so let's go on to marital abuse. Okay, marital abuse could include endangerment, right? So taking you way out in the country and you kind of feeling uneasy on the inside. You're not sure if they love you or don't love you or what's going on here, and they abuse you and intimidate you. They might even sexually assault you or rape, right? That can happen in a marriage as well. You don't want it, but they're going to come on you and force themselves upon you anyway, right? That's marital abuse. Other things like love bombing and gaslighting and confusion also happens in marriages. Cursing and traumatic bonding, right? Kind of flip-flopping in moods and attitudes so much that there's a part of you that loves them and still holds on, and yet there's a part of you that wants to say goodbye, right? That's that's traumatic bonding. You have a really hard time separating from the person, even though you know you should. Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. Another form of abuse is blackmailing. And I want to look at my list here because I have a list. Okay, so the next one is sexual abuse, right? That could include molestation, sexual force, rape, coercion tactics, right? Making you do very sexually explicit acts that you don't want to do. I'm trying to think of that movie that kind of had, what was that movie? I don't remember. If you guys know what movie I'm talking about, let me know. It was a movie where there was a guy and a girl, and the guy was kind of like making the girl do all these sexually explicit things, and it was a very it was a recent movie, but it had a book series and everything. It was a very explicit movie. If you know what I'm talking about, post it in the comment section below, guys, because I had a lot of my teenagers come in and they're like, oh my god, I love this book. And it was so X-rated, right? It was so much sexual violence in that movie and that book series. The book wasn't as bad, but the movie was awful. It was terrible. I'm so sick, I can't even remember it. So let me know if you guys remember it. The next form of abuse under sexual would be grooming and doing things in the name of love, right? I'm choking you during the sexual act because I love you, right? I'm making you sleep with me because I love you. That's so inappropriate. It's abusive. Grooming would be buying you things, giving you everything that you need and you want, only to later hurt you sexually. All right. The next one is religious abuse, right? Let's just first put out there, the Catholic Church has done a lot of things that are abusive. They have done a ton of things to kids that are just unfathomable. It's hard to even wrap your mind around the fact that these people even have a brain and a heart, that they would molest children in the name of God. And their most recent incidents were here in Pennsylvania, where the Catholic Church had been molesting children and telling them that that's what God wanted them to do. This was an incident that happened in Pittsburgh. It's awful and it's terrible and it's so difficult to listen to. And for the individuals who are now baby boomers, they were abused as children, and to sit and talk with them as I have, to online and things like that, phone, and to read their stories, it's just terrifying. So religious abuse is so real, and it's almost like a cult-like mentality where you get into this environment and you're hoping that God is there and that these people will show you love and compassion and direction, and they would make you feel like you're at home, and then they turn around and abuse you. I have here, they use scripture to cause fear. They come off as loving only to groom you. They say things like, God is mad at you, right? That's emotional abuse. God doesn't like ugly, right? Maybe you're not acting ugly. Maybe you're just hurting, or maybe you're just having a bad day, but they're constantly using scripture against you and God to make you feel inadequate, or to make you feel like you've done something wrong to God, right? That is religious abuse. And last but not least, there's legal abuse. I have seen so many sociopath and narcissistic people like this, and they come after you with unwarranted lawsuits. They come after you, I have here, with custody disputes that are inappropriate and inadequate, and they do a lot of unwarranted motions and accusations legally. They use the legal system against you every chance that they get. And in my situation with this family that I told you about at the very beginning of the video, he was definitely being abused legally. I mean, there was always a child abuse accusation. There was always a motion against him. There was always some attempt to disrupt excuse me, guys, disrupt the relationship between he and his daughter by trying to get custody and trying to engage in parental alienation. I'm going to post that video up here so you can see that as well. Parental alienation, that's another form of abuse. Thank you so much, guys, for being with me today. I'm so surprised I made it through this without coughing. It's a miracle. I encourage you guys excuse me, to give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful to you. Oh boy. See, I jinxed myself. I'm like, I didn't cough. Now I'm ready to cough. I encourage you to give this video a thumbs up, guys, if it was helpful to you. I also encourage you to hit that subscribe button, because once I get better, we're going to start talking about some more really interesting stuff. In the meantime, guys, I wish you all the best. If you have any questions or comments about this video, or you have any suggestions, please let me know. All right, guys, thanks so much. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.